Welcome back to the QPL Stage 1 Finals. The quarterfinals continue right now as we have cha1n versus vengeurR coming up here. We're going to take a quick look at the brackets because as the lower bracket also is playing out, we are seeing players eliminated from the tournament. Now, I understand this is a very difficult, brackets are real hard to follow, you guys. So I just want to give a boost of confidence that if your favorite player loses at this point in the tournament, they are not out of the QPL. They are simply out of the Stage 1 finals. The number of chat about wait, so Avic's not in the QPL anymore? Not a thing. So just for clarification, if we say their tournament life is over or they're out of the tournament, it just means that they can't win that beautiful belt that will ultimately someone's name will be engraved on here at the end. Welcoming back to the desk, ZSX and Lethal. Gentlemen, hello. Are you ready for cha1n versus vengeurR? This is one of the matchups that as we left day one and went into day two, I was most excited for.
Yeah, more than ready, man. This could be like the forthcoming final for the next few years of the QPR. They're the two up and coming stars. So remove Rafa, then potentially these are the two guys that would dominate.
Yeah, ZSX hit the nail on the head there. Been looking forward to this all day. Of course, we do have Rafa versus Cypher later on, but cha1n versus vengeurR, both of them made some dramatic improvements. vengeurR was a little bit better than cha1n last time, but again, cha1n is continuing to improve throughout the entire course of the American region of the Pro League. And we've seen a massive difference. Compared to Stage 4 Season 1 to this stage, it's been such convincing wins. And the scorelines, haven't been close. They've been actually dominating in comparison, kind of similar to what Rafa's been doing. And with that series against cha1n in the Pro League and against Rafa, he has clearly shown why he is one of the best in the Americas region. And you can see there, pretty much won every single series apart from the one against Rafa, but there were still quite close games on a couple of those maps.
Yeah, they definitely were close games for sure. ZSX, what do you think about cha1n?
I think he's a boss. He's just come on so far. I remember speaking to him in Poland all the way back in Stage 2 finals after he did particularly well, obviously taking up Kula and telling me how he was lacking confidence to believe in himself. He was lucky, essentially. But ever since then, it's just come on and keeps developing and keeps evolving. And you can see he's the person that's been challenging Rafa closer than anyone else and has a really just unique style as well. He just plays incredibly safe, incredibly positional focused, and it's so hard to counter.
Yep, and his opponent, vengeurR, certainly one of, I think, a fan favorite to kind of watch. He has developed a lot himself over the last stage. And, in some interesting interviews that happened early on in Stage 1, vengeurR was talking a lot about the areas that he felt like he needed to improve on the most. And one of the things that he said is that I want to be a bit more like Rafa. I want to be a bit more like water, not feeling like I have to commit to a style, but molding to a style and playing to an opponent's, I guess in this case, weaknesses in order to win the matchups. Now, are we going to see that here? Yeah, he had some ups and downs, ended up seed 3'd in what was arguably a very, very difficult regional group to play in. But I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited for this matchup, because you've got, in my opinion, right, two individuals who are kind of right where they needed to be in each of their regions, and now just going head to head.
Yeah, the Maestro man himself. I feel like over the last 12 months, vengeurR has given Rafa the best series possible, one of the closest we've seen. Raisy's matched him a couple of times in the finals, but it's just night and day in terms of the skill gap. Maybe because it's the stamina for him, I don't know, but that's the topic for another day. But going back to vengeurR versus cha1n, this should be very close. vengeurR is still very young, he's still at an age where he's still got a lot to develop. I feel like both these players haven't nowhere near hit their skill ceiling, but that's a great thing about Quake, the skill ceiling is literally so high, but there's so much more to improve on. Even Rafa, the global champion for such a long time, he's so much more he feels like needs to improve on too. But in terms of his mechanics, his fundamentals, vengeurR is just looking really hot, and cha1n is just the same. So between these two, compared to the last stage of this one, this should be an absolute slobber knocker.
GSX, any thoughts?
Slobber knocker indeed. I think they're relatively similar in terms of their journey. I think Wenger came on a bit earlier and cha1n is somewhat caught up. They also share a number of similar qualities in that they favor positional play over more aggression. They favor a bit more a defensive style, generally a bit safer. And they also struggle to truly take games away from their opponents. Something that Rafa does, and that's what Wenger wants to do, is capitalize, strangle the map. And so they have a little bit of weakness and things to work on. So I'm expecting quite a cagey affair between both of them. But, I mean, on their day, there's virtually nothing to separate either to one of these players. And that's why, I guess, for me, it's really the game of the day so far.
Well, let's see if the picks and bans will change your mind at all, ZSX, as we pull those up onto the screen. It looks like Awoken, Deep Embrace, and Molten Falls are on the table.
Well, it's not too bad, because cha1n was saying that, you know, he likes to ban Corrupt to Keep a lot of the time. That is one of Wenger's best maps. It used to be, you know, Raze's Keep, but that's been a long time. Raze pretty much lost every single Corrupt to Keep, so it's more Wenger's map to go to. Wenger has actually banned Ruins. A little bit surprised about that, because I don't feel like it's one of cha1n's best maps, but it could be the fact that Wenger's just uncomfortable to play on that. But Awoken, again, I think that's good for both these players. Deep Embrace the same. It's a coin flip, because it depends on who gets that, you know, good start, and if you do actually take your opponent down, how much health do you have in order to, you know, keep your opponent away, if you can restack quick enough. There's a lot to go into this, but in terms of the map picks, I think we've been in for a real treat.
Yeah, I really like the high tempo starting with Awoken and Deep Embrace. It's interesting to see Deep Embrace come out. I mean, as we discussed earlier, it's one of those maps that has a little bit of a risk factor attached to it, because it can just snowball out of control if you get a bad start. But having Keel as your pick on cha1n is actually quite a good counter, because you're not going to be susceptible to the onslaught of spawn fragging that can come out. You have that big stack advantage to fall back on when you spawn. You've got some grenades if you've got no weaponry, so you know you're pretty healthy. Nyx on Awoken, I guess that showcases what Wenger's thinking. He like a bit of safety first. He can play a higher tempo and aggressive if he wants to, but it's all about the safety first and then build from that foundation. And then if we get to Molten, I'm liking the Anarchy for cha1n. Eisen has a place, but I think I like Anarchy on that map just a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the second map, Deep Embrace, like Keel's record right now on Deep Embrace, even versus Strog, is quite good. I'm very curious to see that one. And real quickly, before we hop into the game, let's talk about predictions. Lethal, I'm putting you on the spot. What do you think? I know a close one to call.
I don't know what Dan thinks, but, you know, Wenger, I think he would be the one who take this 2-1. I think cha1n's good, very good, don't get me wrong, but I think every single map is just going to go to the wire. It could be either one of these players, but I think Wenger may just have the edge. He has a little bit more pedigree in terms of skill, and a little bit more, you know, good tracing aim, good mechanics, and what he wants to do, but especially from what we saw yesterday. But it's a tough one, but Wenger, 2-1, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that, 2-1 to Wenger.
Y'all suck. I'm gonna be as biased as I can be for the America's side here. I'm gonna say that there's got to be a breakthrough moment for cha1n, right? We've talked him up throughout the entire stage one. I'm gonna go 2-1 cha1n on this one. And if you guys want to rub it in my face after the match is over, that's cool.
You can be biased, it's fine.
He's Canadian, though, so you kind of a win-win for you right now, isn't it?
That's why I said America's. America's.
Right.
There's
I'm
multiple
I'm
Americas.
not used to any Americans thinking outside of the States. So.
All right, Lethal. We'll let you watch this in the hot seat, and myself and Dan will take this one off and put a little bit of Euro America's, a guard up between the two of us for this one. I'm either way, honestly. Again, the results are whatever the results are, Dan. But like at the end of the day, I just want some killer games, and I do think that these two are going to deliver on just that. So, I'm excited to get started here.
Yeah, we normally get slobber knockers week, so this is going to be another one, I'm sure.
I'm okay with the slobber knockers as long as those are Quake games. All right, Awoken's going to be our first map. We're hopping into it. We have one more quarterfinal after this. Of course, that is going to be Rafa versus Cypher. Then we're going to be going to the lower bracket games, and those will be tough because it means that someone will be going home from the tournament. Dan, kick us off. for map number 1.
We are going in and we are on cha1n to start with that Mega Spawn. Going to head over to the lightning gun room. Work out where vengeurR is. Already eating a nice rail through that telly. So I have to be a little bit wary. Problem with the Mega Spawn is you struggle for weaponry. You see that vengeur's got position, he's got the rockets, he's got the rails. So cha1n will have to play incredibly slow here as vengeur's got him trapped at the moment in this banana room.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Nyx is going to play into this. Some nice tribal damage coming off. As you mentioned, the positional play that both of these players enjoy using, and we're already seeing that right now. Heavy is up, but did cha1n not see it? He had a chance to go down and grab it. I guess he just did not want to, and he's going to give that up to vengeurR, meaning that cha1n has no stack at all. I'm not sure why he made that decision there.
He'd already used his orb, so as we spoke about in the intro, it's a defense-first style, particularly in the quarterfinals. First map, just play as risk-averse as you can.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll have to see. I mean, we're starting off a little slow, and I'm not too surprised to see that. Got a rocket jump coming out from cha1n to get that light, and now he's going to try to control this middle area. Does so with a great rail as he peeks from the side, equalizing these stacks just a little bit. Mega's still a ways up, and so 90 seconds into this game, it is very, very slow to start, but I have a feeling once that first frag comes out, we're going to see that energy level increase and the gear shift.
vengeurR delayed the Mega so slightly. I don't think cha1n realized an aggressive Ghost Walk came out earlier as well. cha1n did see that, so has a bit more confidence to move freely around the map as they meet through here, engagement and through the telly. But big rocket from vengeurR and a nice, clever rocket jump to get across the map from cha1n there as well. So smart play from both players. As we see, incredibly cagey. cha1n is giving a lot of respect to vengeurR, but almost too much respect. As you said, he's got full item control, full positional control, and so it's vengeurR at the moment who's dictating the tempo.
Yeah, I mean, and you're not going to be able to win a game versus vengeurR on just lights. It's very evident right here. He's going to try to make an attack on the heavy. We do see Ghost Walk come out offensively, rocket jumping up. Could be a second frag here for vengeurR, and he does manage to get frag number 2 on cha1n. I mean, cha1n just has, like, only had his life for defense, and that is not going to work out. A single rail will put you in the danger zone, and then they're an easy follow-up target. So, you know, will that ever change? I don't know. Looking at vengeur's point of view now, he is the one without a stack at this moment, but Heavy's about to pop up. There he grabs it, no problem. Now going to make his way over to Mega, and is picked up by cha1n. vengeurR hears that, just hangs out there in the middle.
Yeah, and what vengeurR did there is exactly what I want to see more from cha1n. Even though you're playing on the defense, you know, you have to posture somewhat aggressively to try and delay or prevent item pickups and do some damage if they want to take them. And I guess one of the issues I find with cha1n's style is that it's very rail heavy, which often means that if he's not hitting his shots or his opponents aren't giving him the angles, he can struggle a bit. And that's what's happened so far, is that vengeur's playing extremely smart in the way he's positioning around the map.
I completely agree with what you said about cha1n's best form is definitely with his rail on as well. He pops one out there, and vengeurR sitting with a pretty nice stack. Very comfortable with the areas that he is controlling. Misses that rail. Would have set him up for a potential chase and a frag. Grabs the heavy. Now making his way over to the Mega. Knows that it's up. It's ticking down. cha1n is there, but he fires. vengeurR fires from the wrong side, and he holds on to his 2-0 lead. But this game is quite similar to how we saw the opening game between cha1n and Rafa in the stage 1. I believe is that final week. You know, two players definitely respecting one another, playing it slowly, and then the game just sort of unfolded. direOrb does come out, a steal of the armor, but it's not going to be enough. vengeur's hurt, running away, but he picked up that third frag and grabs Mega to put himself in a better spot.
He also didn't pop the Ghost Walk, which means it's available for the next engagement. Also means he can go aggressive with the Ghost Walk if he decides to. At the moment, trying to track down cha1n's positioning, and I guess as we expected, extremely cagey affair.
It definitely is. You called that one quite right. As Heavy is up, there's the Ghost Walk into the rocket jump over the side, gonna steal away Mega in the process, or has the opportunity to, hitting a lot of tribal damage to the jumping rail, making it 4-0. And vengeurR was like, Wheat, your prediction was shit. I am going to close this one out. Not even give cha1n an option for a frag. He is looking mighty fine in this matchup so far.
Lovely double jump to shotgun combo, and vengeurR at the moment is looking on fire. He's got this perfect split on the 2 items. He's controlling them well. He's engaging when he needs to. He's also willing to forfeit items when he feels it's not worth the risk. So a well-balanced playstyle we see coming out from the Italian so far.
Yeah, I mean, vengeurR is playing phenomenally. He's not making mistakes. He's taken risks, and those risks have paid off quite nicely. And I think he's got to be feeling comfortable also knowing that, hey, I can pop my Ghost Walk defensively. I've also got it to use offensively, and that can put you in sort of a bad spot. But it all... rocket jump that didn't quite hit its mark. cha1n somehow comes out on the positive of that trade. I'm actually so surprised that LG was locked. I thought it was done with, but cha1n manages to pick up that first frag.
And it was the first semblance of conflict we see coming out from cha1n, pushing the aggression, which was nice, but has lost out on this Heavy now. Good damage through the grate. He's not particularly strong. And the aggressive Ghost Walk comes out. cha1n realizes it's going on, but it's a question, can he find his opponent? The answer is no. vengeur's stuck in the corner, and they're both incredibly low. vengeurR hopping around, and cha1n does escape to get some additional health bubbles.
So much LG damage coming out of that Ghost Walk. cha1n knew exactly what was up, but you can't look in front and behind you at the same time. And it was a coin flip there, but vengeurR called heads, and it was indeed heads. And a ton of damage there. That could have gone a lot differently and could have been cha1n's second frag. But again, vengeurR taking those risks. He's got the frag lead to be able to do so. And even when doing that, not putting himself in a position that is going to let cha1n so easily take away that lead. Another exchange here on the lower levels as rocket bounced both the players around. Rails through the drive-in window. And with the clock ticking down, oh, another instance where the back is turned, but cha1n with the orb, converting that into a rocket kill, puts a second frag up on the board.
Oh, man. Two incredibly close frags coming out from cha1n, and completely unexpected as this map is now slowly turning on its head. I bet vengeurR is a little bit mad with the way both of those played out. He should have both got the frags. Pops the Ghost Walk at the last second. He knows cha1n is relatively low, but he himself is pretty low. He needs to get out of dodge as he does get a rail going up that jump pad. Oh, this is getting close now.
Ooh, it's very, very close. Heavy is picked up. That's going to be good for vengeurR. Less than 2 minutes left to go. Mega goes to cha1n. He's got no armor stack at all. Middle area, rockets are fired. No contact takes place. Only 2 frags separate these two, but the burden is on cha1n as he must chase down vengeurR. Not only get the frag, but then follow up with another one. That Ghost Walk is up in about 10 seconds. A little bit of damage done. Dire Orb is up. If there could be maybe some sort of a cheeky, aggressive move that cha1n could make here, that could put him in a position. But I think that vengeurR is playing this exactly how he needs to. I'm sitting around the other side, hearing those rockets go off. A rocket jump up to the top. Didn't quite hit its mark.
Question is, how do you get vengeurR when he's stuck in this two-con playing the teleporter game? As you say, has that Ghost Walk, and you can see what vengeur's doing. So smart, he's just getting to the items when he knows they're going to rocket jump up, probably Ghost Walk as well. This is a big chase now. The Ghost Walk's gone. He has to find his opponent and kill him now before the Ghost Walk comes back up.
Yeah, and he's got about 40 seconds to do that, which is perfect because that's exactly how much time is left in this matchup. Catches him, a glimpse of him with the LG damage, misses that rail. He dances around the teleporter. cha1n giving chase. He pulls back just a little bit. 30 seconds now on the clock. Will drop down and grab Heavy. Rocket jump up to the top of vengeurR. He is feeling victory here for map number 1. The Dire Orb to get an offensive position, but it's not going to work out for him. defensive rockets fired by vengeurR. He puts himself in the back hallway, and I think that is going to seal the deal. A greatly placed rail, nicely done on the defensive. Both players going to call that one, say GG. And 6-3, a nice map win there for vengeurR. You know, I think did everything right in that, right? Took the right risks at the right time. cha1n, you know, maybe he's going to come out of that map saying, I might have played a little bit too reserved there in the opening minutes, because I think if he was playing at the pace that we saw in that last 5 minutes, you know, maybe that's a little bit closer game. However, he hit some nice shots. There were some great offensive ghost walks that came out there from vengeurR. You know, nicely done, good game. I enjoyed it.
No, I agree, and exactly towards the end when he's using those orbs aggressively, but a few obviously slightly lucky frags, but all credit to cha1n to making those situations happen. That's when he looks most threatening. The big problem for me, he hit 20% rail, you know, like something like 6 of 30.
Yep.
And we said the rail unlocks cha1n's potential. That's what he was trying to do for the first 4 or 5 minutes. As soon as it didn't work, he realized, this isn't my day. I'm going to have to switch up the strategy. I'm going to have to switch to the tempo. So full credit to cha1n to adapting, but it's a little bit too late to make the comeback happen against the Knicks of the quality of vengeurR.
I mean, putting up a score, though, 6-3 versus a player like vengeurR certainly shows the potential there. We're now going to move on to Deep Embrace. It's going to be a Keel versus Strog matchup. And, yeah, I mean, you know, well done by vengeurR. I think that's how we expected him to play. We did see a little bit of glimpses of cha1n's rail come out there when he had control.
Yeah.
But I think where he is effective is to chip away that control with the railgun when he's not in it. And as he pointed out, that just was not happening. All of the doors were shut, locked, and there was just kind of boarded up. There was no way in for him. It really wasn't until vengeurR put himself out there, made a mistake. cha1n capitalized very well. A couple of those ghost walks could have gone either way. Yeah. But, you know, it is always a coin flip sometimes with that. And you've got to play the guessing game, not only on what your opponent's going to do, but, you know, cha1n was trying to guess, where did my opponent go?
Exactly.
So Deep Embrace, Keel's got a pretty good record versus Strog on Deep Embrace, at least for the Stage 1 finals. But is that going to be enough?
I think it might be. It's cha1n's map, it's cha1n's server, it's cha1n's pick overall, and he's the one that's playing uncomfortable on the Keel. We saw how deadly it is, but vengeurR has a very tasty Strog peeker. And I do like the way in which you can use the speed that Strog brings to work around Keel's lack of mobility, as well as the peeker of the burst damage. So it's going to be, I think, a much faster paced game, but still relatively cagey compared to some of the Deep Embraces that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, I mean, shaking out all of the jitters there in map number 1. I think these two come like, yeah, I respect you, but we're going in hard. And Deep Embrace is not necessarily a map that gives players a lot of flexibility. Yeah. A lot of times you are just forced to fight based off the layout and the size of the map. But we are going live here for map number 2. And vengeurR only needs a single map to not only advance onto the bracket, but to send cha1n down to the lower side. And we're going to be peeking through his eyes to see how he is going to start this, getting a mega spawn, already scoring a little bit of LG damage, but he's got the weapons that he needs. So already we see some grenade damage coming out. Going to go ahead and protect against that railgun. And cha1n, though, with full armor. vengeurR looking for something to add to his stack. There is a light now making his way back up to the middle. And that's what I'm going to be looking for here, ZXX, is how, right, is vengeurR going to choose to kind of play that middle platform? Will cha1n play from the outside? We got peeker coming out, quickly goes down. cha1n's looking for where the source was of that. vengeurR gets hit with the rail, and this first minute already has plenty of action.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a contested upper platform for sure, as that favors both their play styles and gives you perfect 360 vision of the map. But will vengeurR give him the opportunity? He nearly gets the rocket jump across. That was so nice, or would have been so nice. He needs to back up, be a bit more careful. Hasn't got a rail either just yet, which is a priority for him to find.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing about cha1n on the other side, but a great rocket. Oh, followed up the peeker, does a lot of damage. cha1n is what, down to just over 50, 67 health. And oh, direct rocket damn near takes off cha1n's head on that one, and suddenly his stack has just disappeared. Does grab that mega, but still a scoreless game. 90 seconds into this one, vengeurR is now going to get himself a rail, and we'll see how this game changes as a result.
vengeurR absolutely respecting the stack of cha1n up on the upper platform, knowing he doesn't want to compete around a corner with a Keel. Not only is it the stack, it is, as we've seen already, the dangerous, treacherous pineapples that can cause a bit of mayhem in close combat. So he's trying to play this mid-range game at the moment. That's where Keel is most vulnerable, chipping away at cha1n as well. And one of the reasons why cha1n's rail was so low on the last map is what we're seeing right now, is that vengeurR doesn't give you opportunities to hit him. He's so careful in the way he positions and takes fights. cha1n is finding it mightily hard to get any sort of damage onto vengeurR.
Completely agree. And I mean, we've had a couple of rail shots come out and hit from cha1n, but I think you're exactly right. vengeurR just not giving those opportunities, holding on to the middle area and just controlling gives him full view of everything that is happening, and has an eye on the mega. It is going to be well, I thought that we were going to have pickups at the exact same time. The heavy is up. A huge amount of damage coming out here from vengeurR. He's going to pop the peeker. Peeker does do a little bit of damage now. LG on the side. Grenades come out, leaving vengeurR with, 13 points of health. Grabs a bubble, tries to rocket jump, fails. Heavy was sitting there for like 45 seconds just watching the fight.
cha1n made the huge mistake not being able to get up there, and vengeurR finally realized what had happened. But you can see this is the problem for vengeurR, is that these engagements need to be clean. Otherwise, cha1n will spawn, pick up a weapon, and just press forward at you. So this is why we're seeing such a cagey affair from both players, because vengeurR's out-positioning cha1n at the moment and not wanting to take these engagements unless he can get the upper hand, which he does right here. cha1n didn't realize vengeurR messed the jump up. That's why he's there. He's so early. So that mistake from vengeurR 30 seconds ago turned out to be a huge boon for him.
But vengeur's really capitalized and sort of readjusted whenever he is needed to. That was one great example. He did take a lot of grenade damage there, but he managed to secure himself the heavy and the frag, and another one. Great read by vengeurR as he scores his third frag. And off of the spawn cha1n, exactly how you called it, CSX, he can get aggressive. He's got that RL, he's got the grenades, and that's exactly what he did, putting himself one frag away from vengeurR, 2-3. We haven't even hit the halfway mark, and already we've seen a phenomenal game between these two.
Yeah, you don't have to put yourself in anywhere near as much of a risk to take these major items away when you're a heavy champion. You can actually play even safer in cha1n's role and just try and chip away. If vengeurR wants to go for this mega, let him and just deal the damage. It's not on you to take them. You're already healthy enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a long fight there over that mega. vengeurR doing a great job sort of juking his opponent from down below.
Oh no!
Oh my god, the rail directly into the pit. It ties the game up 3-3. A rocket jump and a mid-air rocket for the lead. 4-3, my god. Holy shit. Amazing.
To keep it BG. That was
Oh my
sick.
god, I cannot even believe it. That's insane. cha1n, though, in the danger zone. vengeurR with the frag to tie it back up. Revenge indeed. What a matchup.
What a matchup indeed. Is vengeurR now trying to keep the tempo up. He knows he's under pressure, even though he's just killed his opponents, trying to keep his distance, and this time gets a mega without falling through the gap, which is nice.
Yeah, that always is nice. And I feel like is suddenly cha1n realizing like, oh my god. vengeurR killing himself off the spawn too. Another one. No, the rail. Are you kidding me? What is this game? This is insane. I was gonna say that cha1n, I feel like, has said, like, wait a second, I can get a little bit more aggro. Like, I can bully vengeurR a little bit, but you know, vengeurR can turn back and say, I can bully too. You know, the off the spawn rail, beautifully done. We're now tied 4-4, 4 minutes left to go. But what a display here.
Exactly, man. That's the thing. It's the balance you need to find. You can't let him walk all over you. You need to man up, and that's exactly what the little Italian is doing right now.
As things slow down just a little bit, cha1n waiting in the middle area, does manage to get a ton of LG damage off. 225s will be picked up, and another great rail for cha1n. Even threw down a grenade just in case. And cha1n for the first time has actually the second time, because vengeurR did kill himself, but has the lead 5-4. cha1n now low on health, but has a very nice armor stack. vengeur's going to drop down to the lower levels. He needs that light at least. What is he going to do? Is he going to set himself up for Mega here? It's still about 10 seconds away.
Yeah, good chip jamish. vengeurR has stabilized now. He's got his rocket. He does definitely need a rail. He's also pushing aggressive. The speed, catching cha1n off guard, but those pineapples prickling vengeurR to retreat. Hasn't got the rail, but he's caught cha1n on the low ground, and as soon as he gets to the low ground, that speed from vengeurR was absolutely juicy.
If vengeurR was thrown off a little bit by the aggressiveness of cha1n, he has readjusted immediately, making some real smart shots. Loved that jump and double rocket up to the top, and a little bit of damage will be done there. The LG's not going to take down Peeker very easily. So we're tied up though 5-5 as vengeurR is continuing to deny armor around the map, and both of the major items are about to spawn, picked up at the exact same time.
Got the exact split
vengeurR
on the major items between both players.
Yep.
It's so even right now.
It is, and I like this calm before the storm that happens after the major item pickups. vengeurR has been running pretty much the same route as and cha1n has been running all the ones that he wants. And we're gonna have Peeker coming out there, quickly dispatched.
I mean, both these players know it could be, you know, next frag wins. This is why we see this standoffish play style, waiting for that perfect engagement. cha1n just wants to fight in a choke point, and vengeurR, he doesn't. He definitely doesn't.
No, he does not. Uh-oh.
Big rail.
cha1n puts himself in a pretty bad spot. A double rail coming out. Is there going to be a follow-up? No, it's going to be the shotgun to give vengeurR the lead with a minute and about 10 seconds remaining. This gives him a large amount of momentum to potentially close it out right here. He grabs that heavy armor. Is going to quickly make his way back to the middle. cha1n is there waiting, does hit a nice rail. Peeker comes out, rail down out of the air. Rockets raining down as vengeurR looking to pick up one more frag. LG comes out, cha1n is hurting badly. Mega picks vengeurR up, and he has 45 seconds to hold on to this one frag lead and take this in 2.
My heart, I can't take this, but vengeurR smelt blood. The retaliation from cha1n is incredible. He's hit like 4 or 5 rails in a row. Both of these making the perfect decisions, but it is going to be one more fight before this ends. vengeurR, though, he's got 2 exits here. Which way is cha1n going to come from?
He's waiting for it. Here's the rocket fired from the RL side. And vengeurR very smart to just sit in this middle area for the final 15 seconds. cha1n does have an opportunity to just barrel in and throw out everything that he's got, but he puts himself between 2 pillars. 8 seconds left. Great LG coming out. It's going to force cha1n away. He goes for the 225. Oh my God, he lands the rail, and he could go into sudden death. It's crazy. vengeur's going to off the spawn, rocket jump up, hit, pick up that heavy armor, but we are going into overtime.
What the fuck?
I can't believe it.
They are so even right now. This item's not up for a while. vengeurR just wants to get out without being touched because cha1n is barreling down from the low ground. He's caught him here, but cha1n has a good position to retreat.
If I was cha1n, I would want to slow this down just a little bit. It's been rowdy. He doesn't have a huge stack. Going around the corner, Peeker comes out, does a ton of damage, but the heavy was picked up. LG comes out, right move. vengeurR, will he go in for the kill? cha1n is very, very low and in the danger zone. vengeurR hunting his prey, knows that cha1n should be an easy frag right now.
But vengeur's so wary from what happened last time he went brute force. He knows the pineapples can cause so much chaos, and cha1n is still got a sizable stack even though he's low just because he's so beefy. He's also chipping away at vengeurR, so vengeurR will be even more reserved now. The Mega's up. It could be a big fight. cha1n's gone for it though. That's risky. Does get out relatively unscathed, but has no armor to work with, and vengeurR knows he's got his prey a little bit trapped in the banana room. He doesn't want to push it. He's got low ammo across the board, no rail to work with, virtually no lightning gun, but he can't let him get out either.
He really can't. And both of our major items are going to be up here in just a moment. The only 2 rockets left, 1 rocket left for vengeurR. Now he picks up an ammo pack, 3 rockets
the Mega
down.
because it's easier to get in and out. He can get both major items here, which is huge. cha1n hears him go. He wants to get back, but he's so slow. Really smart play from vengeurR. Just delay, delay, and delay.
Yeah, that was super nice. And now in the middle area, rail does hit from cha1n. Grenade comes out, does a little bit of damage. The chip coming out from vengeurR. A very, very intense game here. 6-6, 2 minutes into overtime now. I didn't think we were actually going to be here, but cha1n with that clutch rail at the end to send us into sudden death. And now both players sitting about even.
Big fight for the heavy going up here.
Yeah.
And it's going in hot, but he's got hit. He's off the map.
Oh my God! Oh my God, that is not how I thought that was going to end right there. cha1n takes it as vengeurR is flown. He's thrown off of the side of the map. I don't know if it was a rocket or it was a grenade.
It was
but we're
both.
going to map 3, ZSX.
I'm
Crazy.
melting in my chair. I don't know what's just happened.
Crazy. I don't even remember what the 3rd map is because honestly,
I don't even care. Can't match that.
That was such an enjoyable game. So sick. We saw the best of both players in that game, ZSX. We saw the great control by vengeurR. He had such awesome decision making. From cha1n, we saw essentially what you do need to do with Keel on that map, and that's bully a little bit, right? Get in the face. Really maximize the effectiveness of those grenades. I feel like we need to watch that end sudden death frag in like super slow motion because I still don't know how that even went off. It was a combination of a couple grenades and a rail. Unbelievable. Crazy.
I mean, the replay speaks for itself. Like, every frag we had here was just so clutch, and the decision making from start to finish from each player was absolutely spot on. People might question that last play that kind of threw vengeurR into orbit, but it was the right play. He had all the items, he had the weapons, he had cha1n low, and if he gave him that heavy for free, it was cha1n's map to win from there on out. He had position and items, and vengeurR knew if he got in, he would steal the item and get the frag. But who would have guessed what just happened?
Yeah, I don't know. If you did predict that in chat, you are definitely sitting on probably a lot of points right now. We're going on to Molten. It's going to be Anarchy versus Eisen matchup. And if I was these players, I'd want to, settle it down a little bit. Look at that. cha1n. Woo. Popping off there at the end. What an unbelievable game. Definitely the best game that I have seen for day 2 so far. Wow.
Just wow. Let's make Deep Embrace mandatory pick.
It really has turned out to be such a great map. I kind of like the claustrophobia that exists on that map, right? It really does force a lot of action, but we've seen players kind of deal with with playing on it with their own styles, and it's just been an absolute treat. And I'm sold, man. I think like if you go Deep Embrace, Keel is absolutely an effective pick. So much utility, and you're right. Like movements sucks, right? It's not great, but you know, the amount of damage that you can dish out over a short amount of time and the way you can control certain areas. I'm a pretty big fan, but whatever. We're gonna have to get that game out of our heads because we're going on to Molten Falls.
Yeah, the traditional decider. It's going to be a good one. I can't even remember what champions we've got, so I'm going into game. Just check. Anarchy versus Eisen. That's right. This is where I was a little bit fearful for the Eisen. I don't think it brings as much as the Anarchy in terms of utility, but we've seen how effective both these guys are. They're absolutely top level. So interested to see what vengeur's reasoning is as we jump straight into the map.
Yeah, and you know what? We're going to start off on vengeur's point of view, but Dan, going back to something you said earlier, I think this is all going to come down to rail, right? Like, I have a feeling whoever has the better rail accuracy at the end here is 100% going to be the victor, and we're already going to see the first rail popped off from cha1n. You mentioned that in order for cha1n to be sort of in his over 9,000 Super Saiyan mode, that he needed to be hitting his rails, and I think that is 100% going to be the case here on Molten as well.
Yep, you're completely right. We will see a very rail heavy game. Both these players, as we said before, and we have seen extensively, love the game of strategy and of positioning, and that often brings with it a rail style. And already we see, as you said, cha1n coming out hitting 3 for 3. So vengeurR picking his wounds over here by the heavy.
Ooh, up the jump pad. LG locked on. We are going to see an inject come out, but cha1n is going to run away with his tail between his legs and bleeding a little bit, searching for a band-aid. Did manage to get that mega as we have a turret go up in the back hallways, and vengeurR is just going to hang out here until the heavy is up. I mean, some great rails have exchanged there. vengeurR finally picks up one on his own, going to chase it down with the super shotgun. I think maybe cha1n hung around there a little bit too long, but he does manage to rat his way out of there.
I just love the approach play of vengeurR. It's always so calculated. You see him just peek over for the splittest of seconds, almost making it impossible for cha1n to do any retaliatory damage.
Yeah, as we just saw right there in that little battle over Mega, right? Peeking a couple of rockets, effectively canceling that Mega. And now with that rail and the heavy pickup, vengeurR in complete control here on Molten. Finds his opponent. Inject does come out there as the LG is locked on.
Nice.
And there's the rail. Man, vengeurR telegraphed that one nicely. Yeah. Saw it coming from 1,000 miles away and set himself up beautifully, getting that first frag 2 minutes into this game.
And what else he set up beautifully is this nice split on item timings. 15 seconds between the two of them, giving him ample time to flush out the Canadian, make sure the area is safe, and really monopolize the map as it stands. Great vertical rail. cha1n is so low and the follow-up is there.
Dude, would you believe that vengeurR is shooting 100% 5 for 5 right now?
I actually would.
We said it was going to be the better rail accuracy, and right now vengeur's proven that that call was right there as he sits a beautiful rails. Turret does come out, and a rail peeked around the corner, 100% 6 for 6. vengeurR is not happy with the results of map 2 and is currently playing out of his mind.
Yeah, vengeur's says, I see you're 3 for 3 and I raise you 6 for 6.
Yeah. I mean, vengeurR has control. He's like, this is my house. He's going to throw turret out to protect the mega a little bit, the heavy, and the heavy is up. It's grabbed by vengeurR.
No
and a beautiful,
way.
beautiful chain of 6s.
Fake rocket jump to bait the drop from cha1n. This kid's playing on another level.
He really has stepped it up, right? I mean, like, he is... Mad vengeurR is not tilt vengeurR at all. It is, oh my gosh, stay away from this guy. I mean, some great rails are coming out by cha1n, but even vengeurR is, look at how aggressive he is. I think that's just simply due to the level of confidence that he has.
It's partly that, but it's partly the fact he's got this long split on the item timings. What he's doing, he's using that 15 seconds between the two to really force the issue. He engages cha1n, he takes damage, and he's rotating all the items, and then he just falls back to restack. And whilst cha1n is in an impossible position, we're kind of seeing what we saw on Awoken. cha1n is not making enough effort at this point to get onto the map, and so vengeurR just has everything to work with.
Railed right into that heavy,
Yeah.
and a second, dropping down a second time from the teleporter exit. Another frag. vengeurR 6-0. And you're right, this is very similar to what we saw on Awoken, but this time cha1n hasn't really opened up any potential opportunities for himself. 7-0 now. And you know, I also got a note, as this one's likely ending up a frag, is that vengeurR has had at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 frags that have resulted in just unanswered LG damage, right? He's caught cha1n sort of looking the other way or expecting vengeurR to be coming from another position, and you know, has gotten a ton of unanswered damage, and that is all racking up right now. He's got about 600 damage over his opponent, but a lot of that comes from not only the rail but also the LG.
Yeah, he's just playing absolutely faultless right now, and cha1n is doing his best. He's hitting a good amount of rail, 56%, but that is literally all he's doing, and he's very early for this heavy. Once again, he'll take a lot of damage. He won't get it, but the inject isn't there. He's low, and now he's trapped.
Yeah. Yep, at what cost? And vengeurR knows exactly what's up here. And he could choose to engage. Oh my god, the tribal for the kill.
We know how much John loves his boxing. I mean, this is a time where you say, can you throw in the towel in cha1n's corner, because it's just getting brutal.
It is. There's another example of LG damage coming out. Almost 50 damage, completely unanswered. The rails miss. 9-0 right now. And I don't know, ZSX. Like, I would love to be in the brain of cha1n right now. Like, was there so much adrenaline coming out of that, that deep embrace map that you know, he couldn't come down from it, and is just not playing the best game? Did vengeurR use that and just funnel it and siphon that into just pure unadulterated skill? I have no idea, but vengeurR...
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is just don't make vengeurR mad.
Don't make vengeurR mad. And the scary part about where we're at, ZSX, is we're about to hit the 7-minute mark, but I don't even see, even if cha1n picks up a frag, I don't even see where he's taking control away from vengeurR, right? Like,
no, exactly. And vengeurR's just played faultless. He's able to split the items, rotate them perfectly, force the issue. I mean, cha1n's the one that's playing a supposedly quicker champion, but the tempo that vengeurR's set is just relentless. cha1n is coming in here since he's got a couple of items, but he might not even be able to get this frag. It's that rail. He knocks him off the map, but at what cost?
I mean, that was kind of a gimme, but it was a frag. I don't think it's going to be possible to come back at this point, even with the speed. Just vengeurR with the turret, too much control. He's got all the timings down that he needs. He just played way too fresh out of the gate to see this game go rotten.
Yeah.
I don't see how it goes down. And someone in chat said maybe cha1n's just overrated, and it's like, nah, man, this is
okay.
Like, you saw game 2 and game 1; those were great games. This is vengeurR going beyond whatever Super Saiyan is, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is.
I call BS on whoever called that in chat. I mean, we might have to whisper this week, but is it championship material? Question mark.
This game right now, like vengeurR, yes. If vengeurR was winning this game and going on to the finals, my prediction would be like, did you just see the game that vengeurR playing? He's winning this tournament. He's playing incredibly right now.
Yeah, man. This is one of the cleanest displays of Quake I've seen for a while. I think it's a little bit of a wake-up call for cha1n. Oh, my bad. Given his play style, I think vengeurR just completely countered him on this map in the way he was playing. But you have to give the credit to vengeurR. He did exactly what he needed to do. The tempo he set, we somewhat kind of pointed out sometimes he has troubles truly taking maps away from people. That's not what we've seen here.
Yeah, not at all. cha1n does pick up a frag with the railgun, making it 3-11. But as you note, the final minute is ticking away, and this one is over. It will indeed go to vengeurR 2-1. But man, did we get a series.
I had so much fun casting this series. It was just absolutely mind-blowing levels of skill.
Yeah, it was great. In the last 20 seconds, cha1n
Calls good game.
gives it up, says GG's. A great game. And vengeurR is going to take that one. And we'll move on in the upper bracket, looking very strong. I'm sure many were watching that and going, I don't really want to play Molten versus vengeurR at all. That would be a little scary. So, wow, what a matchup. Let's see if Lethal is going to come back to join us, give us thoughts on this matchup. Lethal, I see that smile on your face.
That was just ridiculous. How do you want me to break it down? Like, it was just map number 2. That was the highlight, wasn't it? You know, some of the situations, like cha1n just got away with murder on so many occasions. It's just ridiculous. But the main thing was about map number 2 on Deep Embrace with the Keel, you know, with the pineapples, always keeping himself in that heavy area, making sure he can use the active ability to the best of his ability, and always try to, you know, try and bait vengeurR into there, which he did do a couple of times. But vengeurR, I feel like, was quite unfortunate. It should have been a 2-0, really. And Molten Falls, he was just all over him. You know, even with the mobility of Anarchy, it didn't even feel like, you know, I feel like vengeurR was the one who's controlling the pace of the game the entire time. The segregation of the items so early on. The amount of times he just uses instinct, the balance between the aggression and being offensive and being defensive and then counteracting to whatever cha1n was doing. There was nothing cha1n could have done. And Dan said it himself, you know, championship material, it looks like it. You know, the way he played against cha1n compared to when Rafa did was just ridiculous. And even on the first map, it was very, very close, but the talking point was that, it's the fact that cha1n would always wait for the items, you know, very early, and that gave vengeurR a chance to ghost walk early himself, and then just before it pops, put him out of position, and he did do that a couple of times, as well as some great defensive rockets to keep his lead solidified until the very end. But great stuff from both his players. Definitely the series of the day for me so far.
Absolutely. And vengeurR moves on. I just want to see, because that is going to set up a vengeurR cha1n semifinal. I don't believe that we're going to see that until tomorrow. So both of those players getting an opportunity to kind of rest up and you know, think a little bit about that game. And then, of course, Razy is going to be playing against the winner of the next matchup that we are going to see after the break. That is going to be Rafa versus Cypher as the quarterfinals continue here. Thanks for joining us for the QPL Stage 1 Finals. I hope you enjoyed that. We still got a lot more coming up as players, tournaments, life are on the line. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, more quarterfinals action coming at you.